So if they do decide to trade Taylor, is there a team or two in particular that you would like to see him go to?
Yeah, most definitely. I think there's a couple teams that come to mind. I think any team that's interested in Dalvin Cook should take a look, right? The first team that I thought of, right, and I'm gonna tell you why it can't happen, right? It was one team that I was like, yes, this was a team, but was the Bears, and it's probably not going to happen. The reason why is because I do think when you're ushering in Justin Fields for his third year, you want to put together a lot of weapons. I don't really feel that the Bears are complete. And obviously, starting next week, we are going to do our division previews and predictions, right? When we do get to the NFC North, whenever that is, I don't know what to do with a lot of the teams there, with all four teams. I think the Bears was a team that I was debating in my mind whether or not to go with. Number one, I still haven't made that final decision. And the reason why is because I feel like their roster is incomplete. I feel like they added on both sides, but I'm like, it could be a little bit more. You have a lot of cap space. You're not done, right? You're not done, right? That's what I felt in my mind. That's how I'm feeling right now. And Taylor will be that guy. Now, why is it not going to work? They have the cap space. They have the draft assets that they can send over. They have the young quarterback. Why not? Well, I could tell you based off action, and all the actions that I've seen with Ryan Poles is that he prefers, a talent with cheap rookie. I won't even say rookie, but cheap deals. Like he likes to economize his economic resources. I mean, think about David Montgomery. He allowed him to leave and go to the rival Lions for not matching the $6 million per year that they signed him to the Lions. He didn't want to match that. So he allowed him to go to their rivals. Literally, they opted to roll out the two running backs, Khalil Herbert and Deontay Foreman, who's making $2 million this season. He just loved the discount. Think about it. Waquan Smith got $100 million from the Ravens. He turns around and signs Tremaine Edmonds for $74 million. So he likes to go discount. That's why I had to exclude them out of here, because I don't want to waste my time saying they should, and I know they're not. So the team that I think should and potentially could do it is probably Buffalo and Miami. I'm gonna just go 1A, 1B there, because I feel like the AFC East, when you look at the AFC East as a whole, they are becoming the more aggressive for talent type of division. They are becoming the division that is like the NBA, in the sense that everybody want to go to Miami or LA in the NBA. I think the AFC East is getting that type of talent. Tyreek Hill, AFC East. Miami, obviously. Aaron Rodgers, Jets, AFC East, right? Everybody, Dalvin Cook wanted to go to the Jets. I believe that may be still on the table. Who knows? But he was flirting with 3 AFC East teams. Odell Beckham wanted to go to the Jets, right? So it seems like the recruits want to go to the AFC East, and they are being aggressive and trading for guys, right? Tyreek Hill was traded. So I think the Bills, who needs that bell cow for Josh Allen to get over that hump, I feel like they are in a position to take that risk, because you don't have to pay him this year, right? You still got one more year of his rookie deal left. So you can kind of go all in. If everybody is saying on this show and outside the show that their window is closing, you need to keep that open, even if it's for a year, and give yourselves another year to go at it. And then you figure out how you want to attack the financial investments. It may just be a 1-year rental, whatever. And I understand there's a gamble when trading a second round pick, because that's probably what he's worth, right? At minimum, second round pick and a fourth round pick, trading all that for a 1-year rental. But if you're Buffalo, you may not have a choice, especially if, let's say, the other AFC East teams keep adding on. Dalvin Cooks go to the Jets or whatever. So I say the Dolphins, because they want to look at Dalvin Cook. They may lose Dalvin Cook. All right, fine. Go for the next big thing. Go for what's better than Dalvin Cook, even if you got to pay more. And they showed me that they don't care. They've been trading for guys. They traded for Tyreek Hill. They traded for Bradley Chubb. So I don't think it will be an issue with them trading for Jonathan Taylor. So I would definitely go Bills and Dolphins for me.
Yeah, one situation I didn't bring up is I don't see a way, even if Jonathan Taylor is traded and doesn't get the long-term deal he's seeking, like I don't see a way he would sit out if he gets traded to a new team. I could maybe see that happening again if things get so ugly with Indy, but I do think it would get to a point where he would get traded if that's the case. Like I don't see him sitting out the season. But let me throw 2 more teams at you, one in the NFC, one in the AFC. The team in the NFC, I feel like not a lot of people would expect this because they drafted a running back in the 3rd round this year, and they drafted a running back in the 2nd round last year. But both guys in training camp have suffered injuries, one to the shoulder and one to the groin, and that's Seattle. Both Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet have been banged up around camp. It's pretty unknown whether either of those two guys are going to be coming back anytime soon. And I'm looking at their depth chart right now. The only real guy I'm familiar with besides those two would be DJ Dallas. I think adding Jonathan Taylor to an offense with Geno Smith, with Metcalf, with Njigba, Tyler Lockett, I think that would be a great fit. Jonathan Taylor going to Seattle. But if you like that, Lil, I have one more team that I think you might even like a little more. That is a little under the radar, but you mentioned going all in, and I think this is another team in the AFC that should go all in this season, and that's the Bengals. And let me say this, right? I think the Bengals faced a very interesting decision this offseason when it came to T. Higgins, right? Because T. Higgins, he's in a unique spot where he was drafted a year before Jamar Chase, and they're going to have to make a decision when it comes to his long-term future in Cincinnati. But they have two great wide receivers. They have a great quarterback in Joe Burrow. And I got to be honest, I don't see a situation where the Bengals are paying all three of those guys big-time money for the next 5 years. So they're going to have to choose. And obviously they want Joe Burrow there. Obviously they want Jamar Chase there. So T. Higgins, to me, looks like he might be the odd man out. And if I were Cincinnati, I would have heavily considered trading T. Higgins this offseason for a first-round pick and drafting a wide receiver with that first-round pick so you could get that guy on the team for the next 4 years at a lower price. But they decided not to do that because they wanted to go all out this year with T. Higgins and try to win a Super Bowl. And I think one of the more under-the-radar losses this offseason in the NFL was actually the Bengals losing Samaje Perine to go to Denver. I think he's going to be really good there with the Javonte Williams situation, the injuries going on. I've never necessarily been the biggest Joe Mixon guy. He's had some off-the-field troubles as well. I know he just restructured his contract. I would like to see the Bengals go all in and really add one more weapon to say, you know what? We really are not messing around. We could go head-to-head with Kansas City if we bring this guy in. So those were the two teams that came to mind for me, Cincinnati and Seattle.
Yeah, so when you talk about the Bengals, right, I think that's a very fascinating proposal that you brought up for a lot of reasons, right? When you talk about Joe Burrow, we know he's about to receive a big, massive contract that's probably going to be larger than Justin Herbert. So maybe you do go all in for the year. You know, I think he'll be a more cheaper option than paying a wide receiver and T. Higgins as well. Jonathan Taylor. So I think that they are in a prime position, just like Buffalo, to go all in because they came up short as well. They're not the only team that's trying to optimize a window. Now, I think the Bengals window is a little bit more open than the Bills, and I think the Bills are still open. You got Josh Allen, you got Joe Burrow, but you still want to go all in because you never know with Joe Mixon and his off the field antics. I like Samaje Perine. I think he could come in, you know, as a number 2 and instantly give you any production that's being left on the table as well. But I do think that's a fascinating idea that you brought up, and simply because you know you about to pay your guy Joe Burrow, and you know that you want to get chips, like you really want to win a chip before you pay a quarterback those amount of expenses, right? At least with Patrick Mahomes, I believe, yes, he won a chip before he got that contract. He got that contract immediately after he won a chip, and even though he won a chip after he got that contract, they was able to economize around them because they already won a Super Bowl. They had the experience, and it was more easier to, all right, I already paid him. We won a ring. I could trade Tyreek Hill and kind of not rebuild, but just build around Patrick Mahomes. So you can do the same thing with Joe Burrow, but you do want to generally you want to win a championship before you pay your quarterback. That's something that the Chargers unfortunately wasn't able to do, and I'm pretty sure Joe Burrow may get paid this year. Who knows how that situation is going to pan out? He may get a contract before the season starts. I like Seattle as well because you mentioned the injuries. I wasn't even in tune with the injuries going on in Seattle right now. I like Kenneth Walker III, but if he's not healthy, then yeah, you add Taylor to that explosive offense. I mean, they were already a team that I'm looking at as that third team in the NFC that maybe can creep up and surprise a few people along the way. So adding Jonathan Taylor would even further that, you know, even further for me. So I think those are two creative teams along with the two teams that I brought to the table as well.
And you don't see a scenario where if he were to get traded without getting paid, he sits out, right? Like, no way.
Nah, Nah, I don't think he sits out at all. Yeah, I don't see that. I think he's going to want to make his money. And especially with the Colts situation, they have some leverage here, right? Most teams generally do have leverage over the players in general, especially a running back with the declining market. So, you know, it's unfortunate, Zach, but I brought it up to your attention before when we talked about it before. I said that, watch out for guys like Jonathan Taylor and Najee Harris back at ground zero, right? The Le'Veon Bell situation with the Steelers, and now Najee Harris is going to be due, and Jonathan Taylor, when his owner said that I'm not for guaranteed contracts, is bad for the league, and that was for a quarterback that could have changed his franchise, wasn't going to pay you, bro. So here we are, those Shadamas.
Please like and subscribe for all the up-to-date content. You've been slinging shows left and right, slinging content left and right. Please don't miss anything. If you do, like, subscribe, leave a comment, or leave a question, something you may want to answer, something you may have. All ideas are great ideas. Nothing's a dumb question.